All right, in this video, I'm going to go over my top 5 Canadian cities to invest in 2024 and the rationale behind those picks. I'm that agent Kelly. I talk about Canadian real estate and my local market of Abbotsford and the Fraser Valley. If you're into that, subscribe, like this video. And if you want to chat one-on-one, I got a link down in my description where you can book yourself into my calendar. Number 5. Surrey. So Surrey is moving super density driven these days, meaning they want to up the density of their city. And thus being the case, if you buy a detached home on a decent sized lot, I'm going to say at least 6,800 square feet. I haven't looked at the zoning regulations, but I'm going to say at least 6,800 square feet with 70-foot frontage across the lot. That is a good rectangular shape. That means, depending on where you buy it, there's a very good chance that that lot in the near 8 to 10 years is going to be upzoned for higher density, instantly earning you a 20%, premium just for owning that property. Because typically, if there's a higher and better usage for your lot, like let's just say you have a single family home and the higher and better usage is townhomes, well, typically you can get an extra 20% for that property in comparison to a single family home that doesn't have a higher, better usage, right? So, your single family home with the townhome zoning in comparison to the exact same single family home without the townhome zoning should get roughly 20% higher. And I will elaborate on this whole buying in areas that will potentially be upzoned for higher density in number 4. But for Surrey, if you don't have $1.2 to $1.5 million to spend, lucky for you, you can pick up a condo in Surrey Central. Surrey has about 60 high rises in the pipeline for the near future. And I know in the short term, that's not necessarily good for prices because that supply is going to push prices down. However, it's amazing for the infrastructure, the amenities, things to do there. Eventually, they're going to have high-paying white-collar jobs in Surrey. Surrey will become its own downtown hub, completely independent of downtown Vancouver eventually at some point. And for those reasons, I think it is an amazing time to pick up a unit in downtown Surrey Central. Now, are you going to see the best appreciation over the next 3 years? Maybe not, because they have 64,000 housing units in their approval pipeline currently right now. However, over the next 8 to 10 years, this is an amazing hold and you can get in for under 500 grand. Number 4, we have Chilliwack / Abbotsford. I made them 1 because it's too difficult to pick which one is better than the other, and it really just comes down to personal preference. Now, if I'm looking in Chilliwack, Abbotsford, I want to again be looking for a 6,800 square foot lot on a 70-foot frontage lot with a home that has 2 rental suites. And I want to buy in the path of progression. I want to buy somewhere that doesn't have the potential to be upzoned at the moment, but likely in the near future will be able to. So, buying in older neighborhoods along busier roads, typically busier roads are eventually going to be upzoned. Buying, we have something called the official community plans, which outlines the areas for which you are allowed to upzone your lot. Well, typically what they do with those official community plans, the OCP, is they just expand them over the years, right? So if you just buy on the, outside the boundaries of the current OCP, there's a pretty good bet that they're going to expand that zone, and eventually you'll be able to upzone that lot when they do, rework the current OCP. So I will put an example of the current infill zoning for Abbotsford called the RS3I here, so you can kind of get a glimpse of what I'm talking about. So you buy an older detached home, 1970s, on a lot similar to the one that we just talked about, and in Chilliwack, you're pretty much going to cover all of your monthly expenses with this because, you're looking at low 9s to mid 9s for a home like this that rents anywhere from $4,200 to $5,000 a month. Now in Abbotsford, you're going to be cash flow negative like $600 to $1,000 a month on 20% down. However, in BC, you never cash flow anyways. This is an appreciation market. It's like buying a growth stock. It's not a dividend stock that pays you a dividend. It's a growth stock that grows a lot and you get the, asset appreciation. So although maybe you're cash flow negative $600 a month, if rent goes up 5% to 10% over the next 2 years, interest rates are 1% lower, you can be cash flow positive 2 years from now. And then you get to own a quality asset in a supply constrained market with tons of upside potential. Chilliwack and Abbotsford are also really down off their 2022 highs still. You know, Abbotsford's down $350,000. Chilliwack's down like $400,000 since the highs. And typically speaking, if you ever get to the chance to buy into land within an hour and a half from Vancouver at cash flow neutral rates of monthly cash flow or slightly negative, historically speaking, that's a very small window that exists before, the cash flow negative situation increases and gets more negative. So those opportunities are very few and far between. And currently right now in Chilliwack, you are cash flow neutral or very close to it. Number 3, Saskatoon. Now I'm pretty sure I had Saskatoon in the 2023 video, but we're going to briefly cover it again. Now I don't know much about Saskatoon, but here's what I do know. They will post a 2% rise in GDP for 2024. It's Saskatchewan's largest city with 300,000 residents, and they have a comparatively high household income of $85,000. Now, if you look at most of the Lower Mainland where I live, our household income is like $93,000, but our average purchase price is like $1 million. Well, the average purchase price of a home in Saskatoon is only $378,000. So that price to income ratio is actually pretty affordable in Saskatoon. Now, with affordability being the main driver of real estate these days, like you will notice that Calgary has performed the best in Canada over everything else the last 2 years. Well, why has that been the case? Because it's the only other, major metropolitan city in Canada that was also affordable in the last 2 years. And here's the thing, over the last 2 years, that has changed. Calgary has gone up significantly in price. So where are people gonna go next? Number 2, Nanaimo. The median list price for a home in Nanaimo right now is $766,000. Nanaimo is comparatively cheap for a city that is within arm's reach of Vancouver. Obviously, you have to take a ferry and blah, blah, but relatively speaking, it's really not that far away. Honorable mention, Kamloops, and I think I put that in the 2023 video. You could, choose Kamloops over Nanaimo probably and still do very well, but I'm going to choose Nanaimo for this year. Same story as Chilliwack, Abbotsford. It's another city close to Vancouver in a supply-constrained market that is poised for major growth. Now, one thing that Nanaimo has over Chilliwack and Abbotsford is that your monthly cash flow numbers are a lot better. Rent isn't much different from Nanaimo than it is in Chilliwack. However, your purchase price in Nanaimo is going to be a lot lower. Therefore, monthly cash flow numbers are slightly better in Nanaimo. And Nanaimo is another market where, people are going to migrate to, right? We're in a situation where real estate is super unaffordable. It's not getting any better. And the longer we're in this, the more mortgage renewals that are coming up every single day. And as people have to renew from 2% to 5.5%, they may just sell their homes and move. And one of the places that they're going to move, in my opinion, along with number 3 and soon to be number 1 in this video, is number 2, Nanaimo. It's safe. It has high growth potential. The weather is super mild. It's got jobs. There's not too much to worry about with Nanaimo, so if you're looking to park some capital somewhere, another great place for 2024. And my number 1 spot for 2024, this might be surprising, Edmonton. Now, this is what is going to perform the best in 2024. Where to invest in 2024? Am I telling you to pick up a house in Edmonton and hold it for 10 years? No, that is not what I'm telling you to do. In fact, I'm not telling you to do anything. However, if we're saying what is going to perform the best in 2024, but likely the next 2-3 years, I think Edmonton has a shot of being a top performer this year. As I've spoke about in this video, due to affordability, we have a lot of interprovincial migration going on right now. People moving from other provinces to cheaper provinces, other cities to cheaper cities. Well, you can't really go to Calgary anymore if you're looking for cheaper because it's really not that much cheaper. It's like the same price as Chilliwack now. So what's the next place that people are going to look to if they are migrating? Well, my guess is it's likely going to be Edmonton. And I look at the price of, say, a brand new townhome in Edmonton, $330,000 I've seen realtors advertising them at. That's like $230K American. So it's a very affordable city. And I just think, speaking from, strictly a momentum point of view, our market kind of ebbs and flows like a waterfall. Vancouver goes up in price, then Burnaby goes up in price, then Coquitlam goes up in price. People get priced out of Coquitlam, they move to Surrey, then Surrey goes up in price. That happens all the way down to Kelowna. But then eventually Vancouver and, the GVA, the GTA gets too expensive. And then where do people move? They move to, Calgary. They move to Winnipeg. They start moving to all these other places, right? Well, now we've seen, Vancouver go up. We've seen Toronto go up. We've seen Calgary go up. And like I said, the next place that is likely going to follow on this waterfall of appreciation, the rising tide lifts all waters. I expect Edmonton's water to be lifted with the rising tide in 2024. So if you enjoyed this video, like it, subscribe. We'll see you on the next one. I'm that Agent Kelly. I'm making moves to move you. Peace.